Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today you're going to be making this bag, and it is Luxe Bag from Luxury Designer Bags. So this bag has so many features, starting from the side panel. The side panel is made in such a way that it looks like three side panel on its own, but it's just one. It's just so amazing. And it has the belt panel. The belt panel in the pattern is two options. This is one of the options. Another one of the option is in such a way that it come from the front of the bag, right? Then it goes through this side and all the side panel like that to the other side of the main panel of the bag. And we have the recessed panel, right? And when we open the bag, there is divider panel and there is slip pocket. There are two slip pockets. Actually, the bag is so functional. And yeah, that's it guys, let's get right into it. Step 1, the main panel. Transfer the line on the pattern piece B to the main interfacing, as I am doing now. So after tracing out the line, I'm marking it together with my rulers. Then I'm going to fold the interfacing on those lines to form the shape of the bag. Then taking my main panel now, I'm going to draw 3-4 inch line on all the edges on the wrong side. So now I'm going to use glue to glue my main interface into the main panel. As stated in the pattern, you can also use double-sided tape, but I'm using glue because I have that. And then we're going to fold those edges to meet the edge of the interfacing. And then we'll cut off the edges that pokes up a bit. Or I mean the corners now, not the edges. So this is what the bag looks like at this point. Then we move to the next step, the handle panel. We draw 1/2 inch and on the short part of the handle, 1/2 inch on all the 3 corners, on all the 3 edges. Then we'll repeat the same thing for the other short part of the handle panel. So at this point, I'm going to draw a center line on the bigger part of the handle, and then I will apply glue. Again, the pattern stated that you can use double-sided tape, but I'm using glue since I have that. And I'm going to fold those long edges to meet the center line that I just drew. Then I'm going to fold again and then use my clips to hold the folded edges in place. Now I'll take this to the sewing machine and sew with 1/8 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to push my piping through the handle panel. So now the two is complete. I have the two already. Then I'm going to cut a slanted shape. That is what the pattern called for, and at the end making the bag, I see why we need to cut that, because it gives the handle a bit of structure and shape, and it beautifies it for sure. Now at this point, I'm going to apply glue. I'm going to apply glue on the short part of the handle. Right, then I'll allow this glue to dry. I'm also applying glue on the handle interfacing. I'm going to set the piping at the center of the short part of the handle. Then after I have made sure to center it very well, I'm going to center my handle interfacing within the line I drew from the beginning, the half-inch line I drew from the beginning. So you can see what it looks like. It's holding that tubing very well inside the short part of the handle. So now we do this, and yes, this is what we have at this point. Then again, I'll apply glue on my handle interfacing, and then cover the short edges of the handle on the handle interfacing. I use strong glue, very strong glue for this part, because I'm sure double-sided tape will not do it. But if you're using double-sided tape, maybe you can use clips to hold it in place till you sew your bag, so that everything is together the way they should be. So this is what we have. This is the right side of the handle. Then we'll move to putting the handle on the main panel. So we're going to measure as it is stated in the pattern, and then we'll set our handle. So to set my handle on the main panel, I'm using super glue. You can decide to hold this with clips, just that I don't know how clips to get to that part, but I am using super glue to hold it in place for now till I sew. So this is what we have, and yes, this is the other side. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew around the edges. So now moving to the third step, the zipper panel. I also have drawn half-inch from the short edges, from both short edges, and I'm doing it for the two zipper panel. I'm going to take my zipper and then draw 3-4 inch line from one short edge, and then I'm going to fold at angle 90. I'm going to fold at 90 degrees, right, as I'm doing right now, and then use clip to hold it in place. Sew it in place, and then take your zipper panel now and then mark the center on the long edge. Now I'm going to align the folded edge of the zipper on that center mark on the zipper panel, and then I'll clip it in place and sew with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. I'm going to sew to where we have that zipper panel and then stop. Then I will clip the other side of the zipper panel, right sides together with the first side, and then sew it with 1/4 inch seam allowance. So now I'm going to open the zipper panel to the right side and then give it a top stitching with 1/8 inch seam allowance. So now I will repeat the same thing for the other side of the zipper panel and the second zipper panel and the other side of the zipper. I'm also going to sew around all the edges of the zipper panel to hold everything together. Now we move to the next step, the slip pocket. Now we hold our slip pockets right sides together and then sew the two short edges. Now we are folding the short edges right sides together, and then we sew the side edges and leave the longer edges open, the longer edge open. I'm going to snip the corners and then turn to the right side. Now I'm going to use my trim, the pocket trim, to cover the raw edge, and then I'm trimming the excess, and also from the back I'm also going to trim the excess away. Now I have two of it because we have two slip pockets in this pattern, and then I'm going to place it on the lining panel with the measurement given in the pattern. Then I'm going to sew around all the three edges. Then I'll repeat the same thing for the other short edge of the lining panel. Now we are done with that, and we move to the next step, the recess zipper. Now on the recess zipper we have two long edges, but one long edge is shorter than the other. So for the shorter long edge, we're going to draw 3-4 inch line. On the short edges we'll draw 3-4 inch line as well, and then on the longer long edge we're going to draw a 1-4 inch line, and then we place the interfacing in between the lines, and then we'll fold the edges to meet those lines, except the 1-4 inch edge. We are not going to fold that line. So I'm done with that, and then I'm going to take one half of my zipper panel, and then I will center it on the raw edge of the recessed panel, right sides together, and then I will sew it in place with 1/8 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to take my recessed panel now and center it on the short edge of my lining panel. Then I will also clip it in place and sew with 3/8 inch seam allowance. Now after sewing it like that, I'm going to fold the seam towards the recessed panel and then top stitch on the recessed panel with 1/8 inch seam allowance. I repeat the same thing for the other recessed panel as I am doing in this video. So now we're moving to the next step, the divider panel. First I will install my zipper pull onto the zipper tape so that I will not forget in the long run. Then I'm also going to prepare my zipper tab and then hold it on the zipper tape, on the short edge of the zipper tape now. Then I'm going to fold it as I am doing in this video and then top stitch it in place. Now I will cut the excess away. Now I'm marking the center of the zipper tape. I will also mark the center of the divider panel. But first, I'm going to draw 3-4 inch line on the bottom edge of the divider panel. The bottom edge is the longest edge. Now there are 4, and I'm repeating the same thing for the 4. And I'm going to apply glue on that line I just drew, and then fold the edge to meet the line. So now we'll also repeat the same thing for the remaining 4, for the remaining 3. Then I'm going to align the right side of my divider panel with the right side of my zipper panel on the top edge. Now the top edge is the shorter long edge. Now clip that in place, take it to the sewing machine and sew with 1/8 inch seam allowance. Then I will align the interior of the divider panel now, right sides together with the wrong side of the zipper, and then I will also sew it with 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can use a zipper foot at this point so that it will help you sew your zip easier. Once we are done with that, we'll open the panels to the right side and then top stitch using 1/8 inch seam allowance. Now repeat that same thing for the other side of the zipper with the remaining 2 divider panel. I'm going to open that up and then also top stitch, just like I did the first time for the other edge of the zipper panel. So now we have this, and then I'm going to fold the interior side together, right sides together now, and then sew the sides, the bottom edge and the other side edge. So we have it as a pocket now, which is the divider pocket. Now we move to the next step, this side panel. Now I'm going to take one side panel and one side lining and then hold it right sides together. Then I will sew with 3/8 inch seam allowance. Then I will open the panels and then top stitch them with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Now I'm also going to sew around all the remaining edges, the side edge, the bottom edge, and the 2 side edges and the bottom edge with 1/8 inch seam allowance, because I want them to be together. So we have the 2 side panel now, and then I'm going to draw 2 3/8 inch, that's 2.375 inch from each side, and then the remaining space at the middle should also be 2 inches, 2.375 inch. Now I'm going to sew that, I'm going to fold that right sides together on that line and then sew it with 3/8 inch seam allowance. Then I will repeat it for the other line that I've also drawn. So now I'm just marking 3/4 inch line from the bottom of all the 3 sections. I'm going to fold one section, one side section, wrong sides together, and then making sure that it's meeting that first line, the side edge is meeting the line I drew. Then I'm going to top stitch that, or stitch that. Now I'm going to stitch that with a 1/8 inch seam allowance, and I won't allow it to surpass that 3/4 inch that I've already marked from the outer edge. I'm also repeating that for the other side. Now the middle is still open, the center, and for that center I will take my divider panel and then put it in the center, right, as I am doing right now, but making sure it doesn't get up to 0.5 inch up. And then I will repeat that same thing for the other side of the divider panel. I will take it to my sewing machine and sew with 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now here is my divider panel, and then I'm folding it right sides together, wrong sides together on the long edge. Then I'm sewing with 1/8 inch seam allowance. Now I'm going to tape that, the wrong edge of my frame panel. I'm going to tape it around all the wrong edge of my side panel. So starting from the top edges, and then the bottom center, and then the sides in between. Then I'm going to sew it all around with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now as you are sewing, make sure you push your divider panel out of the way so that you don't sew through it. So now we have it on the two edges, and then you can, as suggested in the pattern, you can use binding. You can clip binding around all the wrong edges and then sew it with 3/8 inch seam allowance. Now we'll move to the next stage, the belt panel. Now I'm picking the option 1. You can decide to go for option 2. Now I will fold my side panel to the I'm going to fold the long edges to meet the center line. There are 4 of them, and I am doing the same thing for those 4. You can see I've already drawn a center line, and I'm folding the long edges to meet that center line. Now I'm going to fold the short edges to meet the center of it, as I am doing right now. Then I will use super glue to hold it in place. So here we go. This is what it looks like at this point, and then we'll repeat the same thing for the 4. Now we're going to center this belt panel. We're going to place the belt panel on the main panel using the measurements given in the pattern. Then I'm also going to use my super glue to glue it in place till I will take it to my sewing machine and sew. You can also use your clip to hold it for now. Then I'm going to sew all the 4. Now I'm going to install my purse fit. using the mark indicated on pattern piece B, or using the measurements given in the pattern. Now I will apply glue on the wrong side of the main panel and on the wrong side of the lining. Then I will hold them wrong sides together, making sure that the top edges align. Now the top edges is where the recess panel is. Now we'll make sure they align. Now I'm being very careful because I'm using a very strong glue. Once they meet, I might not be able to remove it again. So now I will take it to the sewing machine and sew the top edges with 1/8 inch seam allowance. Now the last step, assembling the bag. Now I'm going to match my side panel to the main panel, first by matching the bottom center, and then I'm going to match the top edge of the frame panel to the seam of the lining. Note that the bottom the side panel now does not get all the way to the top of the main panel. So I'm also going to match the center, and then I like to use my super glue to hold everything in place so that when I'm sewing there is no clips there. So I've sewn that with I've sewn it with 1/8 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to install my zipper pull, and then next I will install my zipper end as well. So we have come to the end of this tutorial. If you would like to go for the option 2 of the belt panel, it's also in the pattern, but I do not have the puncher for making the holes, so I've gone for option 1, and I also do not want to make holes in my bag, but the choice is totally yours. I also like the option 2 because I've seen some bags with that and I really like them. This is the bag. We've come to the end of it, and thank you for watching my tutorial.